You're listening to the Quint's podcast.
The Quint presents the big story for 10th December 2020. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast don't belong to Audible but are those of the Quint unless otherwise noted. Despite a lot of controversies around the Central Vista redevelopment project, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be laying the foundation stone for the new Parliament building on 10th December. The project, which involves creating a bigger parliament, revamping the north and south blocks, which is where the Prime Minister's and the Vice President's new residences will come up, and demolishing the existing structures on the Rajpath boulevard, has been given to Tata Projects Limited. This is estimated to cost around Rs 971 crores, but experts say that it comes at an even bigger cost to the environment and the history of Delhi and India. It is said that the government's ambitious project will strip India of its heritage and Delhi of its precious public space. Although the centre has been fast-tracking approval, sometimes with barely a day's notice, aiming to complete the project by 2022, the Supreme Court earlier this week expressed a strong displeasure over how the centre is, what they said, quote-unquote, aggressively rushing through everything, even as a batch of petitions regarding the matter is pending hearing. While the Supreme Court allowed the government to lay the foundation stone, it warned that no construction, demolition or felling of trees can be carried out in the site until the pleas are heard by the court. So what are the ramifications of the Central Vista redevelopment project? Why is the government's ambitious project raising questions? And what do historians and conservationists have to say about it? For this podcast, we spoke to academician and historian Sohail Hashmi. It was in 2019 when the Central Vista project kicked off. The Union Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry made an announcement. The Central Public Works Department or the CPWD put up a notice inviting bids from contractors for the quote-unquote development/redevelopment of Central Vista Avenue at an estimated cost of Rs 463 crores. The plan involved revamping large chunks of what is known as Lutyens Delhi. Even as over the years, much of Delhi has changed due to constant urbanization, Lutyens Delhi has not only preserved one of the biggest public spaces available to Delhi's citizens, but also stands to hold an immense amount of historical significance. Now, the 3-kilometer stretch in the heart of Delhi that runs from the Rashtrapati Bhavan to the Prince's Park near India Gate is essentially the Central Vista. Designed by Edward Lutyens and Herbert Baker, the Central Vista holds the building that India today knows as its parliament, the North Block, the South Block, the Vice Presidential Residence, the Secretariat Building, which houses several government offices like the PMO, the Krishi Bhavan, Shastri Bhavan, Rail Bhavan, Udyog Bhavan and others. This area also has institutions like the National Museum, the National Archives, the Indira Gandhi National Centre for Arts, all of which also hold heritage objects. Now, the highlights of this redevelopment project vision includes a new parliament adjacent to the existing parliament building, triangular in shape and built on 13 acres with a space for 900 MPs and enough space for a joint parliament session of 1,350 MPs. This is also likely to be designed keeping in mind the future increase in the members of the two houses and a delimitation exercise scheduled for 2026, which may change the seat allocation per state to provide for equal representation. The plan also involves a new central secretariat and a new residence and office for the Prime Minister and a new Vice Presidential residence. But conservationists and experts say that all of this comes at a great cost. What kind of historical, architectural and cultural significance does the Central Vista area hold? And what does India have to lose if this area is redeveloped in a manner that the centre envisions?
Well, the first thing that we will lose is the skyline of New Delhi. जो नई दिल्ली की छवि है वो मुझे उसमें 50 परेशानियां हैं, लेकिन ये है नई दिल्ली जो 20वीं शताब्दी के पहले दशक के अंदर जिसका दूसरे दशक के शुरुआत में जिसके ऊपर काम होना शुरू हुआ। और आप 26 जनवरी आपके जहन में आता है तो आपको राजपथ से 26 जनवरी का जुलूस याद आता है और दोनों तरफ आपको ये बिल्डिंगें आपके जहन में आती हैं। आपको राष्ट्रपति भवन के ऊपर वो लाइट नजर आती है, वो दिल्ली की छवि है, नई दिल्ली की। जैसे भारत की छवि ताजमहल है, भारत की छवि रेड फोर्ट है, जो पूरा का पूरा सेंट्रल विस्टा है, ये दिल्ली की छवि है। इसको आप पूरी तरह तहस नहस कर रहे हैं। एंड विद दैट द आइडेंटिटी ऑफ न्यू दिल्ली एज द कैपिटल will disappear. What will come in place, I have no idea, or I have some idea, but it is not going to be anywhere near what it is today. Why is preserving heritage important is an issue on which one can, talk at great length, but essentially, this is what we have inherited. And what we are today is because of our inheritance. Good, bad, indifferent, but this is part of our heritage, and you can't just be removing it and constantly rebuilding new things, because how do you get connected to your past? It is through much of this connection you make to the past is through these remains of the past.
But it's not just about the loss of heritage, Mr. Hashmi says. The Central Vista also has become the symbol of modern India's democracy.
Because except for the structures that were put together by Baker and Latian, which is the North Block, South Block, the Rajpath Bhavan, which was then the Viceregal Lodge, and the Parliament building, everything else is post-independence. Krishi Bhavan, Rail Bhavan, Udyog Bhavan, all these buildings. And all of this is going to go.
And one of the most important concerns is that the plan simply robs citizens of public space without so much as even taking the public's opinion into consideration. As many as 80 acres of land, which is currently accessible to the public, will become restricted and can only be accessed by government officials if this project goes ahead. And architects argue that the change in land use is quote-unquote legally not tenable, and that there's no provision to compensate for those spaces that won't remain accessible to the public. And Mr. Hashmi says that this plan will expel the public from the heart of Delhi.
The Central Vista was one of the very few places which were open to the public. Because everywhere else you have guards, you have sentries, you have soldiers standing and protecting. A whole lot of places are not open to the public. This was right in the heart of the city, one place which was open. And one clear example of the importance of this is every evening tens of thousands assemble here, unless when it is raining. Otherwise, whether it is summer or winter, tens of thousands of people gather here on these lawns. Now, with the new whatever is coming up, this space is going to be lost forever. And this is in the heart of the Republic. You are expelling the public. That is the net result of what is going to happen. This is going to be a place where, in any case, you see, New Delhi was not meant for people. New Delhi was from the time of the British, was a place where there were government offices, and that was it. Nobody lived in New Delhi. Even today, those who live in New Delhi are only birds of, migratory birds. They get elected to parliament, and when their term is over, they go back, whether it is prime minister or whoever. And there are senior bureaucrats who come here on transferable jobs, and senior military brass who are also here on transferable jobs. Nobody lives in New Delhi. So the people coming in here from all parts of Delhi was the public claiming the capital to be theirs, to be their, it's something that belonged to them. That the people are going to be deprived of.
But the list of the contentious actions taken by the government around this project run long. First and foremost, the glaring lack of transparency is what's concerning the public. Such a big decision to demolish and reconstruct these iconic public spaces is being carried out without any democratic debate. The DDA, for instance, published a notification on 5th February 2020 inviting public hearing on the proposed changes, and then it gave 1,292 people only 2 days to present their concerns. Second, no heritage audit has been carried out for the project despite this being mandated in the Delhi Master Plan 2021. The Central Vista area has several Grade 1 heritage buildings, meaning properties of exceptional interest, which are protected under the Unified Building Bylaws of Delhi 2016. And Grade 1 classified buildings just can't be changed like that unless it is, quote, in the interest of strengthening and prolonging the life of the buildings, end quote. Any type of redevelopment would have to follow due processes laid out by the Heritage Conservation Committee, which can only take the next step after it has invited and given answers to objections raised by the public. Third, environmental damage. No environmental evaluation of the project has been carried out, which not only will lead to the felling of 1,000 trees but also see significant air pollution and water consumption as part of the construction efforts. There's also no plan on how the green cover will be replenished for the 80 acres of land which is being redeveloped. Climate activists are also warning that the pollution levels will spike in Delhi further if the construction begins. And then came the pandemic. At a time where the country is battling the COVID crisis and a simultaneous economic crisis, it was expected for the project to be on hold. But despite criticism, the Modi government decided to go forward with it. So the question is, with all these concerns at hand, why is the government in a hurry? Why is the government rushing through approvals? And why aren't they open to any scrutiny?
Well, this is not the only case. Everything they have done is without consulting anybody, including the 3 farm laws. And they are because they are essentially anti-democratic. For them, democracy is only a facade. The entire thing, there is no imagination, there is no application of mind. And every single town planner worth his salt or her salt there were hundreds of objections. All of them were summarily dismissed.
Yeah.
People were not given time to study the requirement. People were not given enough time to come up with proposals. Everybody knew from day one who was going to get the project. The gentleman who has done the Sabarmati riverfront.
In its proposal, the CPWD has said that this area has poor infrastructure, lacks basic amenities, and doesn't even have adequate space, and that's why it needs redevelopment. And granted, the Central Vista can't be stuck in a time capsule without redevelopment, especially since it's the seat of the government. But could it have been done in a better plan that addresses all the current concerns?
This had to be established first, that there was need to rebuild. Or to build something new. First, the need people had to be convinced of the need. That is the first thing. Number 2, existing buildings. And, the parliament building was inaugurated in 1931. It will be another 11 years before it completes 100 years. Just look at parliament buildings in all the old democracies. In England, in France, in the US. And these are the constitutions of these 3 countries that informed the formation of our constitution. It heavily relied on democratic principles that have been articulated and laid down in the constitution of these 3 countries. Just look at their parliament buildings. They've been there for hundreds of years. Now, it is possible that in the present building of parliament, there are electrical fittings have gone bad, that there are short circuits, that there are pipes leaking, that there is problem with the sewage, with the drinking water pipes and all that. Remove them. Replace, put in new ones. Why do you want to convert that building into a museum? Within the parliament, there are a whole lot of offices which don't have anything to do with the day-to-day functioning of the parliament. Quite a lot of them could be shifted. In any case, we had built the Parliament Secretariat building. You could have created another structure there to house many of these and create more space for parliamentary functioning inside the parliament. But what is being done now is what is proposed. These 8 blocks that are going to come up, 8 multi-storied blocks, 4 on one side and 4 on the other side, and maybe there are more. All the ministries are going to be located in these buildings.
Mr. Hashmi also asks, why is the government bent on centralizing all the central government offices that don't necessarily need to be densified into one location? He points out that without this, there could have been alternate plans for redeveloping this area.
What is wrong with 7 Raisina Road? 7 whatever it is called. Now it is Racecourse Road. What is wrong with it? There are 4 or 6 houses which have been refurbished for the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, his meetings, his place where he can meet the cabinet, security, everything is there. Why do you want a new building? And why should all the ministries be in one location? This centralization is very, very dangerous. And also try to imagine, there are, from what I know, about close to 1 lakh government employees in Delhi.
Right.
Who directly work in the ministries. You can get the figures. They are going to come out of these offices at 5:30 every evening. Can you imagine the traffic chaos? Where is the space for the roads? Even today, when the ministries are scattered over a large area in the within New Delhi, the Rafi Marg and all the radial roads from the roundabout in front of Rail Bhavan and the roundabout in front of Udyog Bhavan, every road leading from there is chock-a-block full. When ministries are dispersed, when all of them will be on just this road, can you imagine the chaos? The environmental cost of all that, of the endless traffic jams, because there is no space for expanding roads in this area. And there are a large number of central government offices which don't have to function from here. The Department of Fisheries, why does it have to be operating from Delhi? There's none. All the fisheries are on the coasts. All the fishing business happens there. So there is a whole lot of things that don't have to be here. You are constantly centralizing.
The editor for this podcast is Shelly Walia, and it's been produced by me, your host, Shorbri. If you like listening to The Big Story, please log on to the Quint's website and check out the podcast section for more.